Why do I want to share the topic of autonomous driving? This is about my view on the question of whether humans will be replaced by artificial intelligence. The current development of artificial intelligence has made it clear to everyone that some jobs with accurate input information, fixed processing modes, and experience reference are gradually being replaced by AI. Some relatively simple and mechanical jobs can already be completely replaced by AI, such as clerical and data analysis junior positions. One feature of these jobs is that they do not need to deal with people too much, just follow the gourd and copy the gourd. However, AI is powerless in jobs related to creativity and human emotions, such as literature and art, psychological research, etc. I even think that AI will never be able to write such a heart-shaking work as Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. So which kind of work does driving belong to? I think it belongs to the former, but the complexity of this work is much higher, but the nature of the work is not fundamentally different. It is only a matter of time before this work is replaced by AI. I think most people will not have any doubts about this. On the other hand, the rise in labor costs will accelerate this process, especially in developed countries, where the shortage of truck drivers is getting bigger and bigger, and autonomous driving is almost the only solution. In this case, a breakthrough change in this industry is coming, which is a definite opportunity for investors. Speaking of which, let me share with you a BBC report on China's autonomous driving field to understand the development of autonomous driving in China. The title is, China's Self-Driving Trucks, Ambitions and Challenges to Change the Transportation Industry. The report opens with us on the highway between Beijing and Tianjin Port, where a large truck with full loads is driving itself. Although there is still a safety driver on the car according to government regulations, as many analysts say, these people will soon no longer be a necessity. The first time that 32-year-old safety driver Hu Kongtian let go of the steering wheel and let the truck drive itself, the feeling was both impressive and unsettling. At the beginning of the journey, he was in full control of the vehicle. But after reaching a certain point, he tapped a few buttons and the powerful heavy machine began to drive at high speed on the public road to Tianjin. Of course, I was a little scared the first time I drove a self-driving truck, Mr. Hu said, but after a long time of observing and testing these machines, I feel that they are actually quite good and safe. The truck was still driving itself when it left the highway and drove up the ramp to the toll booth. After passing the toll booth, Mr. Hu pressed a few buttons again and regained control of the vehicle. My job as a safety driver is to act as the last line of defense. For example, in an emergency, I must immediately regain control of the vehicle to ensure the safety of everyone, he explained. For the driver, he believes that switching to self-driving mode helps relieve stress and fatigue, and frees up his hands and feet for other tasks. He believes that it does not make his job boring, but more interesting. When asked if he was worried that the technology would one day eliminate his job, he said he didn't know much about it. The report further stated that Li Hengyu, vice president of Pony.ai, known as Xiaoma Zhixing in China, told the BBC that their current fleet of driverless trucks operating on these test routes is just the beginning. In the future, our transport efficiency will definitely be greatly improved through driverless operation, he said. For example, labor costs will be reduced, but more importantly, we can better cope with adverse environments and long driving hours. Yang Ruigang, a professor of technology at Shanghai Jiaotong University and an industry expert with extensive experience in autonomous driving technology in both China and the United States, believes that the core of it all is saving money. Anything that can reduce operating costs is something companies are happy to have, so it is easy to find a reason to invest in fully automatic driverless trucks, he told the BBC. In short, he said the goal is simple, reduce driver costs to near zero. However, the report stressed that there are still major obstacles before self-driving trucks are allowed to drive on global roads, the most important of which is public concerns. In China, self-driving technology suffered a major setback after an accident in which a vehicle in autonomous driving mode killed 3 college students. Qin Li, an analyst at the Economist Intelligence Unit, said that the Chinese public still has a long way to go before they fully accept the technology. We know that recent accidents involving passenger cars have caused a stir in China. So the public perception of driverless trucks, even though they are currently more regional, will be absolutely critical for policymakers and the market, compared to passenger cars. Professor Yang also agreed that truck drivers are unlikely to lose their jobs in large numbers in the short term. We have to discuss the specific context. Open environment? Probably not. High-speed driving? Definitely not. But if it is a low-speed situation, such as last-mile delivery trucks, it has been achieved. In Hefei, Anhui province in eastern China, hundreds of driverless delivery vehicles shuttle through suburban streets while human-driven motorcycles and cars speed around them. Hefei was once one of China's poorest cities, but now its government wants it to be known as the city of the future, and is willing to give new technologies a chance. Huang Guan, president of autonomous driving company Reno.ai, usually Rubwa Intelligence, in China, said they have found a market opportunity. Driverless delivery vehicles can transport packages from express delivery companies' large distribution centers to local community stations, and then human riders will take over and deliver the packages to the doorstep. We allow couriers to stay in the community to pick up and drop off packages, while self-driving vans handle repetitive, long-distance delivery tasks. This improves the efficiency of the entire system, he told us. Reno has also been in talks with other countries to cooperate, and the company said its vehicles will be used in Australia as soon as later this year, when a supermarket chain will begin using their driverless delivery vehicles. Currently in China, they say they have operated more than 500 driverless delivery vehicles with right-of-way in more than 50 cities. However, Hefei remains the most advanced city in development. In addition to Reno, the city of Hefei now allows other driverless delivery vehicle companies to operate. Huang Guan said this is due to a combination of factors: government encouragement, subsequent local trials, accumulation of experience, improvement of regulations, and ultimately allowing for widespread implementation. On the roads of Hefei, people can see these vehicles changing lanes, turning signals, stopping at red lights and avoiding other traffic. For delivery companies, the data is more telling. According to Zhang Qichen, Reno's Anhui regional director, not only is delivery now faster, but the company can hire 3 driverless electric delivery vehicles for the cost of hiring 1 driver, and these vehicles can run for days without charging. She said she was shocked by the speed of change in the industry, adding that she would not be surprised if heavy-duty long-distance trucks can achieve routine autonomous driving in certain specific situations within 5 years. Professor Yang also agreed. It will take at least another 5 years for heavy-duty trucks to operate unrestricted on highways. When asked if it can really be achieved so quickly, he responded, "I am very sure it will be achieved. In fact, I firmly believe it will be achieved." Industry insiders said that in addition to closed industrial areas, such as open-pit mines or ports, the most direct application of driverless trucks may be in remote, harsh terrain and extreme environmental conditions, especially on long and basically straight roads. However, the report emphasized that there are still significant technical challenges in the field of heavy trucks. Heavy trucks need better cameras that can track ahead as far ahead as humans can to detect hazards farther away. More complex roads may also require additional sensors along the way. Other obstacles may include breakdowns in extreme weather or sudden, unexpected hazards in very busy traffic. On top of that, the current self-driving technology for heavy trucks is still not cheap. What's more, the vehicles are currently modified older trucks, not self-driving vehicles straight off the production line. China wants to be a leader in new technology, but it must also be careful, considering not only the potential for fatal accidents, but also how the Chinese people view the transition. This is not just about fulfilling regulations. This is not just about building a public image, said Chim Li, noting that over time, the public will see the benefits of the technology and understand how it will reduce their purchase costs or see it as a way for society to progress, rather than seeing it as a potentially disruptive technology that causes traffic accidents or eliminates jobs. Professor Yang sees another problem: we humans can tolerate another human driver making a mistake, but we have a much lower tolerance for self-driving trucks. Machines should not make mistakes. So, we have to make sure the system is extremely reliable. This BBC report on China's self-driving truck industry paints a picture of the future that is both promising and challenging. The core idea is that self-driving technology, especially heavy trucks and delivery vehicles, is developing rapidly in China, and its main driving force lies in huge economic benefits, significantly reducing labor costs, improving transportation efficiency, and being able to continue operating in harsh environments that humans cannot bear. Through the perspective of safety driver Huakong Tian, the report allows us to see the shock of this technology in actual operation and the adaptation process of early drivers, and also reveals the potential of this technology in improving work comfort. Practical cases of companies such as Pony.ai and Reno.ai, especially the successful exploration of Hufei in the field of low-speed delivery, further confirm the commercial feasibility and social benefits of self-driving in specific scenarios. Reno.ai uses self-driving vans to handle repetitive long-distance transportation, allowing human couriers to focus on efficient delivery of the last mile, which not only reduces costs but also improves the efficiency of the entire logistics system, demonstrating a transitional model of human-machine collaboration. However, the report also profoundly points out the major obstacles facing the popularization of this technology. The core challenge lies in public acceptance. Especially in China, previous self-driving accidents have left a shadow in the public's mind, making people's tolerance for machine mistakes much lower than that of human drivers. Policymakers and industry promoters need to manage public expectations very carefully and win trust through actual safety performance and broad social benefits. This is not just a technical issue, but also a challenge at the social, psychological and ethical level. The second is the technical maturity and cost issues. Although progress has been made in the application of simple, repetitive, and specific areas, such as long-distance straight highways or closed industrial areas, comprehensive self-driving under complex, open, high-speed, and variable road conditions still faces technical difficulties such as sensor accuracy, dealing with extreme weather, and handling sudden and complex traffic conditions, and the cost of modification is still high. This shows that although it may take 5 years or even longer for heavy-duty trucks to be fully unmanned on highways, low-speed delivery of the last mile is already within reach. Finally, the report also touched on the sensitive topic of employment impact. Although Professor Yang believes that truck drivers will not lose their jobs in large numbers in the short term, the goal of reducing driver costs to near zero by industry experts clearly points to changes in the employment structure in the long term. This requires all sectors of society to think and prepare in advance how to retrain and relocate the affected labor force, and how to guide the public to view autonomous driving as social progress rather than a job killer. In summary, for the implementation of an implementable application technology solution, China is a paradise for this cause, both in terms of policy and company execution. China's autonomous truck industry is in a period of rapid development and has huge commercial potential, but it still needs to overcome many challenges in terms of technology, regulations, costs and, most importantly, public acceptance. Its future development speed and popularity will depend on how these challenges are effectively addressed and how a benign interaction is formed between the government, enterprises, and the public to jointly promote the healthy development of this innovative technology. For investors, this means that this field contains huge long-term growth opportunities, but it is also accompanied by higher risks and longer return cycles. Investments should focus on companies that have leading advantages in technology, business models and government relations, and can effectively manage social risks. Looking around the world, which companies are worthy of investors' attention and research? I will share some personal views in the next issue. Okay, that's it for now. We will continue next time.